Hello, so I'm Robyn. I'm picking up where Karen Mees left off talking about the issues in clinic, well, not issues, aspects of clinic, the business aspects. The next point that you need to know about is marketing and customer profile. Because we're a student clinic, we're actually quite varied in the customers that we get in. You may or may not know that we don't charge for under 6-year-olds and we don't charge for over 65s. And that was a marketing strategy that we used to get more people of those age groups in. I guess because of the demographic of the student group, very often we found that we had very healthy women sort of aged 20 to 40, so we really want to extend that out and attract as many diverse people into the clinic as possible. In terms of socioeconomic status, disorder type, there's nothing really that jumps out there. Of course, there are more women than men that attend because that is the way that naturopathy works in our society. I'd have to say that I'm fairly happy with the number of males that we do get coming through the clinic as clients. Socioeconomic status, I think we perhaps do attract people who would not necessarily go out and pay a retail fee to see a naturopath because we've got such cheap first visits. Our competitive advantage, well, that would be, as just listed, that because we're a student clinic, I believe that our clients get the best of both worlds. They get a fresh, dedicated approach from student practitioners, as well as having the backup of our clinic supervisors who oversee the cases. So I think it's quite a good balance in that way. I'm not sure of any other competitive advantage I can think of. Marketing strategy. Our marketing strategy again is a little bit odd because we believe quite firmly that our clinical students should be able to attract and bring in their own clients. It's no good for us as a student clinic if we go, come and have your clinical year and here's 30 clients, because actually the day that our people leave here and graduate, they need to open their own clinic and they need to have developed those skills of attracting clients in as well. So that's a very long-winded way of saying that we don't do a massive amount of marketing for the clinic. We do have little brochures and flyers, and also we do know that in naturopathy, marketing's by word of mouth. So when we have had ads in newspapers in the past, we've had very few people who have come in as a result of that. We do, as part of our survey at the end of year, not survey, I keep wanting to ask Karen who's filming for the words that I can't find. As part of the report at the end of the year, we go through how all of the clients have found their way to Paua Clinic. And as you would expect, most of them are not colleagues, but in the cohort, or know people in the cohort. So they'll be friends of friends, or they will have come from word of mouth. Word of mouth, whether that's from an existing student or previous. As the years have gone on as well, the Paua Clinic's gaining a little bit more of community momentum. So we do have our clients who come back year after year. Right. Marketing tools, brochures, yes, we have little flyers, we have business cards, we put things on the Facebook page, so standard things, but as I know that our biggest marketing tool is word of mouth, by far. Professional development of practitioners. Well, our student practitioners are right in the midst of getting professional development. Which company seminars do they go to and what key topics? So as part of the tutorials that student practitioners in their clinical year go through, we have a number of different companies come in and talk about their products. In terms of our clinic supervisors, most of our clinic supervisors who are here are also in some kind of private practice. So they are having ongoing professional development that is not really, it's probably less of a focus here because people have their other lives as practitioners as well. With professional organisations, the college of course has a relationship with NZAMH and with NMHNZ, and we've also just recently rejoined the WNF, which is an umbrella body for naturopathy worldwide. I'm a really big believer in professional associations, as I am, although it's not this question, a very big believer in people having professional insurance. I think that I get a little bit testy and maybe a bit grumpy if people go, well, I didn't get value for money, the association didn't do anything for me. I think that it's really important to be a part of an association. And I've spent quite a lot of my own professional life serving on a committee for a professional association, which is quite a lot of work. So, the benefits, I think the benefits actually of professional associations are yet to be seen, and both of our professional associations are currently trying to get a regulation for our professions under the HPCA Act. So I think that's really a big deal and is in itself a good enough reason to be a member and to support the associations. So, ethics and safety. So safety issues for our clinic. Paua Clinic is very conservative because of the fact, by virtue of the fact that we're a student clinic. So there are safety procedures that we go through and that we emphasise, which probably if any of the clinic supervisors were practising their own clinic, they wouldn't necessarily do. So just extra layers of checking and double checking, and I guess that's really evident in the way that we teach students to pour herbs, and that they pour them one at a time and rinse out the cylinder in between. I have to admit quite freely it's a little bit of overkill, but all of those procedures that we have are designed really to be to make you as safe as possible, which I think is really, really important. Ethical issues, informed consent. Yes, there's informed consent. Absolutely confidentiality of records, and we have to be very mindful too that we have a certain proportion of the clientele of the clinic who are also students of the clinic, and our student practitioners also consult one another. So we have a certain number of rules about never speaking about an SPCNM student client when there's anyone else in the room. It's always behind closed doors. And if we're talking about clients ever, there's no need to say a client's name. You know, it's plenty to say, well, this was a 45-year-old woman and she'd been experiencing blah-de-blah-de-blah, and she has been having some marital troubles and da-da-da-da-da. You don't need to go into detail about who that person is. So that's really important. We're very cautious about use of our client files and where they go, and we have quite a procedure about recording on the whiteboard if a student wants to remove a file from the clinic and go and work on it, for example, in the library. And none of the client files ever go home. So that's really important. This will be something for us and also for you to keep a little bit of an eye on too, because the privacy laws in New Zealand are just undergoing review. So ethical issues, the college has got our own code of ethics, plus we look to codes of ethics of the NZAMH and the NMHNZ as well. So, okay. Now I am going to talk to Karen. Oh, I'll turn to some other ethical issues actually. Pregnancy. I talked about, she's nodding at me now. I talked about how we're overly conservative, which I think is a very good way for us to be. So one of the rules that we have in the clinic is that we don't give any herbs or nutrients to women in the first trimester of pregnancy, and that would be with the exception of something that is well proven for morning sickness, or if it's a nutrient deficiency and non-nutrient deficiency. So those would be the two exceptions. Treating minors, children, of course, we go through police vetting with all of the students in the clinic and with all of the clinic supervisors. And we also have a rule that no student practitioner or clinic supervisor is on their own in a room with a child under 16. So it can be quite tricky sometimes if you've got a mum who brings a whole lot of, or brings her family in, and one of the toddlers has to go out to the bathroom, so we quickly have to bring someone else in as well, so that there's not one of our people left alone with the child. It's just an extra layer of safety and a good precaution to live with in our days and these days. I didn't talk about, under safety, I didn't talk about herb-drug interactions, but every single time our students write up a herbal formula, they need to check that there are no herb-drug interactions with the drug regime that their client is on, and they'll look up references for that. So we might use the formulary, which is Wayne's favourite, as I'm sure you'll know. We might also consult the latest product manuals from Phytomed or ProHerb, because they have a couple of pages about interactions in the back there. Or it's a little bit older now, but there's a Mills and Bone book on safety and interactions as well. So it's not hard to get good information about that. Okay, I think that I have just about covered everything on your required list to talk about. Karen, is there anything that I've missed?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's me. Thanks everybody. Bye.